Okay, so we are going to do the reteach problems, the ones that you'll see on your homework for Module 19.3. So you see this is on page 925. It says, which of the following functions is a quadratic? So as we've been talking this week about quadratic, remember quadratic is when it's to the second power, second degree. So this is for the x term. So what you're looking for is, if you look right here, this is x to the second. This one has an x to the second. So those are our quadratics. A, E, and C are all linear functions, okay? So you think about rewriting them, you're looking to rewrite them. Linears would be y equals mx plus b. Quadratics in standard form would be ax squared plus bx plus c. So in this case, B and D are our quadratics. Our next problem, problem number 16, on the next page, Tim wrote that this particular function in standard form was this. It says find his error. So here we're actually going to do the math. So we're going to expand this. So just like our order of operations, you do parentheses, exponents. So in this case, I'm going to square. Now, how do you square? There are a couple ways you can do it. You can do the shortcut, which I'm going to do here in just a second. Or remember, if something is squared, that means it's multiplied twice. So you could do it like this, and then you could choose to do FOIL or your square, or you could do distributive property. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the shortcut method. So I'm going to take this right here and I'm going to square it. So what do? You take the first term and you square it. So that's going to be x squared. Then you take term times terms times 2, okay? X times 2 is 2x, times 2 is 4x. So that's positive 4x. And then you take the second term, which is positive 2, and you square it. Positive 2 squared is 4. And then you have minus 10. Now you do your distributive property. Sorry about that flash up on the screen. Negative 6x squared minus 24x minus 24 minus 10. Okay, so I'm seeing the error here. Right here, if you combine that, that should be negative 34. And he got a positive 14. So the problem goes back to right here. He didn't distribute a negative sign. So his signs were off, and thus he ended up with a positive 14 because he would have had that this 24 was positive. 24 minus 10 is 14. Sorry about that. Skipped one page. Okay, next page, problem number 20. I'm going to read the directions here. Use each table to write a quadratic function in vertex form, then rewrite the function in standard form. So what you're going to find in doing these problems is vertex form is much easier to write initially, but some of the problems you're going to need standard form for solving later on. So right here it tells us the vertex of the problem, but we can also see the vertex right here because, again, it's where the pattern repeats. 4, 4, then it goes 52, 52, okay? So wherever that pattern repeats is the vertex. So with our x, it's negative 2. So remember what we said. With the x, it's not what you think. So even though x is negative 2 in the equation, we put positive 2. And then when it's not with the x, it is what you think. So your y is down 12, so then we put minus 12 on the outside. Now what I've got to figure out is my coefficient here in front. Okay, so a couple of things I'll look for. The first thing is, are my values going up? Yes, they are. So that means it's a positive. So I know this out here is a positive. The second thing is I look for my pattern. Now, because my x scale goes here by 2's, if I did the parent function, okay, so the vertex is at 0, 0. When I go 2, I should go up 4. Okay, But in this case, what happened? If I look back over here, this one has actually gone from negative 12 to 4. That means it went up 16. So how did I get from 4 to 16? That means I had to multiply by 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. So that means this coefficient out front is 4. Now, to double check, let's go to the next one. This right here was a change of 4. If I go from negative 2 to 2, that's a change of 4. If I go 4 here, the pattern is 4 squared is 16, so I should have moved up 16. What actually happened here? From negative 12 to 52, that is a change of what? 64. Well, how do I get that? Again, if I multiply by 4, 16 times 4 is 64. So I did. That does work. So then this becomes my new equation. And they may want f of x since they said a function. So f of x equals this. Now what do? Now I expand it. How do I expand it? I do just like I did in that previous problem. Okay, so I'm going to do my shortcut here. That's going to be x squared. X times 2 is 2x, times 2 is 4x, and then 2 squared is 4. So I end up with 4 times x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus 12. Do my distributive, 4x squared plus 16x plus 16 minus 12. Do my like terms, and I get 4x squared plus 16x plus 4. Okay, this one says make a prediction. A ball was thrown off a bridge. The table relates the height of the ball above the ground in feet to the time in seconds after it was thrown. Use the data to write a quadratic model in vertex form and convert it to standard form. Use the model to find the height of the ball at 1.5 seconds. Okay, so first we need to find the vertex. Where is the vertex? The vertex is right here. Why? Because it's where the pattern repeats again. Okay, so our x value is 1, but when it's with the x, it's not what you think. So it should be x minus 1 squared. My y is 144, so I moved up 144. Now I need to find my coefficient out front. So what do I do again? First I look and see what's happening here to my values. They're all going down. Since they're going down, that means this is a negative. But I still have to find the value here. So how do I figure out the value? So I go back. These are all changing by ones here. So now I look by ones. If I think about the base function, the vertex at 0, when I go by 1, it goes up 1. What happened here? This one went down how much? It went down 16. Okay, so that's the number I need to be multiplying by, a negative 16. Now, let's double check that. If I go 2 squared is 4. Okay, how much did this one change? If I go from the vertex to the second one, that one went down. What's 144 minus 80? That is a negative 64. Okay, so let's see. If it should have been 4, what's 4 times negative 16? That is a negative 64, so that does work. So there it is in vertex form. It says convert it to standard form, so rather than take you through the whole process, I'm just going to do this real quickly here. So that's negative 16, x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus 144. Do your distributive, negative 16x squared plus 32x minus 16 plus 144. So negative 16x squared plus 32x plus 128. Now, this should be a reminder to you. Look at this. That is my y-intercept. Your y-intercept is when x is 0. I told you the other day in our cheat sheet notes, whatever this is should be your y-intercept. So that does fit this problem. Then it says find the height of the ball at 1.5 seconds. So what that means is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put that in for x. So here, I would just get my calculator out, and all I'm going to do is on my calculator, I'm going to type in that function with 1.5 in there. So negative 16, 1.5 squared plus 32 times 1.5 plus 128, and that gives me a height of 140, and then this is measured in feet. Okay, last problem. After a heavy snowfall, Ken and Karen made an igloo. The dome of the igloo is in the shape of a parabola, and the height of the igloo in inches is given by the function, which is the vertex form of a function. Use the graph to find an equation for f of x. So what do we need? We need the vertex, okay? So where's the vertex at? The vertex is right here at 40, 48, okay? So we know that f of x equals, we'll come back and do our coefficient here in just a second. What's my x? My x is 40, but your x is not what you think, so it's minus 40 squared. My y here is plus 48, so there's my vertex. Now, I got to figure out what my coefficient is. How do I do that? So I'm going to come over here again. I'm going to do my basic, my parent function. So from the vertex, okay, 0. Now, this is how far. My x went from here to here, so that's up 20. So I do 20. So 20 squared would be 400. That's what should happen. Now, what happened here? This one went down 12. So how do I figure out what I multiply by? We did this the other day. You take what you got and you divide it by what you should have gotten. So if I do that on the calculator, negative 12 divided by 400, that is, as a decimal, negative 0.03, okay? Or if they want it as a fraction, you would write negative 3 over 100. That's what it would simplify to. And there comes our function.